Nikunj, clearly volatility is the name of the game. It's been the Nifty Bank Index as well as the Frontline Index that's felt the heat.
So, if you have to look at the directional move here, Avan, the direction move in the market is that the grind continues. The grind continues while we are not in any kind of an, pronounced trend. This is the fourth weekly decline, almost a month now, for the Nifty and for the Bank Nifty. Let's pause here. And if you look at what the Bank Nifty has done and what Nifty has done, along with the small and the mid cap index, which is how much are we off from the recent high, the Bank Nifty clearly is, I won't use the word downtrend, but is leading the decline, and then the mid and then it's Nifty followed by the mid and the small cap index. So while Nifty is getting jammed, the broader market has not seen that kind of a damaging cut, so to speak, which in a sense is important for us to point out. Now, what may happen this week? To be very frank and honest, the graphics are slightly lazy today, they're just not changing. To be very honest, now that's the setup which I was just talking about, what happened last week in terms of the market setup. So that I think is very, very crucial for us to establish that we are in a slow grind. The slow grind is a function of what is happening to Bank Nifty and how the picture is moving. The small and the mid cap stocks have marginally outperformed. But if the global cues deteriorate and FI selling accelerate, then we could be in for some more selling, and what is looking like a slow grind could actually become like a pronounced trend.
Okay, a slow grind could become a pronounced trend, and I just want to quickly get in a view as to how the global markets as well shaped up. Well, you did see a mild gain coming in for the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq absolutely flattish with a positive bias, but for the week gone by, the major averages have declined and it's been lower by nearly 2 to 2.5% across the board for the most part on Wall Street. For the Asian markets, well, they've gotten off to a bit of a choppy start this morning. So just pretty much tracking the kind of moves as well that we've witnessed overnight. The GIFT Nifty there down about 12 points at 19,317. So Nikunj, given that you're talking about the kind of trade setup, what happened last week, what would be the position now? Does one shift the position on the index, given that it has been a lot of touch and go as well with a very critical 19,300 mark?
So you look at the Nifty setup. Let's say a month ago, the premium on the Nifty was 120 points. It's just come down to 5-6 points now. Similarly, with the Bank Nifty, the premium seems to be shifting down. So the temptation to cut longs and create shorts at the institutional level, I think, is there. Similarly, on Friday, you take Reliance out of the equation, the market actually was quite hollow. And we know that while FIs are selling, the ammunition what domestic institutional investors are sitting on, that also seems to be, reducing. So it's not a market where you would say that you want to be the buyer in the first fall. I think the markets will be testing. The real strength of the bulls, in a sense, really would be tested this week because you are at the lower end. Global cues have turned volatile. Dollar index is rising. So I will not be surprised that the direction of the market remains slightly fragile. And what needs to be seen is that if benchmark indices, which is Nifty and the Sensex, if they correct, what really is going to happen to the broader market? So strategy, I think, is simple. You don't want to commit a lot of leverage longs. And I think if the downtrend becomes slightly more pronounced, then maybe you may get a few odd trades, at least on the short side also.
Okay, that's a view coming in terms of the overall market position. But let's move right on then and talk about the big news maker of this week and in particular for today. And that's Jio Financial Services. And before being hived off, if it was known, of course, as Reliance Strategic Investment, that is going to make its debut on Dalal Street today. Now, the stock's discovered price was about 261, but the kind of trends that we're seeing in the grey market, that does suggest that it could perhaps list at a higher level. 1.5 lakh crores nearly in terms of the overall market capitalization, and it will become the second largest NBFC in the country with the market cap that will be higher than several of the Nifty heavyweights, the likes of Britannia, Hero Moto and Grasim Industries. So Nikunj, this is very closely going to be tracked by the markets.
So there is this short-term angle and then there is a long-term angle. Now, the long term, which is 3 to 5 years plus, that I think would be a function of what institutional investors they decide. Up until now, if you look at the Jio Financial listing, the Jio Financial listing, so you got shares in proportion. So if you own Reliance, you got Jio Financials. But I expect that a lot of institutional investors may actually take a view that they do not want to own Reliance, but they want to own Jio Financial. So that adjustment, I think, really would be at play. Similarly, there would be a lot of institutional investors who may want to change their view on Jio Financials. So you will actually see some institutional adjustment. But the way I see the short term and the way I see the medium to slightly long term is that I expect that the institutional appetite for this business is going to be strong. This is a very unique business. It gives you a play on just about everything from NBFC to institutional broking to an AMC. It also is a play on technology and connectivity, and no other parallel is there, and that will continue to give this any kind of a unique premium. So medium to long term, a company from the house of Reliance, which has the bedrock is technology. It's run by folks who understand scale and has got a very unique advantage in terms of what they can do. Now comes the medium, now comes the short term. Now at the current market cap of 1.7 lakh crore, it's not entirely a stock which would be lapped up in the short term because there is no big price mismatch. And this business now needs to be scaled up. It needs to demonstrate its ability and agility, which I'm sure they would. So in the short term, barring the technical adjustment happening today, I think it's fairly priced. But for somebody who's got a 2 to 3 year kind of a time frame, I will not be surprised that for a lot of institutional investor, this may soon becoming this go-to must-have kind of a stock.
Also quite the historic one, right? The first listing from the Reliance stable in about 2 decades.
See, Reliance, if you talk about the MDA group, yes, Reliance.
In MDA group, of course.
Yeah, so if you talk about 2 decades, I think less than that, because Reliance Petroleum also listed. So I think Reliance Petroleum was 2003 or 2004. You're right, actually almost 17, 18 years. So Aisha, this is not a business, this is a very unique in a sense is that this is not where you've gone to the capital market and you raise capital. This is a business in which the existing shareholders of Reliance have actually got the share for free. Yeah. So that I think is the bonus which they should be delighted and excited about. My point is that there is a short term and there is a medium to long term. The short term at this kind of a market cap, the fact that this business has just got incubated, they'll have to reach scale and size. In the medium term, this is a business which is very uniquely positioned because of technology.
And in a competitive market.
Yes, yeah. But they have advantage of technology, reach, scale, size, understanding, and a great team, and the Reliance brand. So it will be a very different business.
Yeah, because it's a broad range of services as well that they will be offering.
Yeah, broad range of services in a sector where growth, I think, is very large. Yeah. So they actually would be challenging a lot of incumbents and they would be disrupting a lot. And this is a business where you actually would see that the distribution model would change. So it's very hard for anybody to imagine that what this business could potentially look like. You know, when Jio was born, who thought that it will create such a large ecosystem? Yeah. And it was not about the cost. It is the ecosystem which they've created in terms of platform, connectivity, Netflix, OTT. That's the ecosystem which a Jio business was able to create. Both of Jios have been a decisive needle, swing moment for India. Yeah. Can this franchise do the same? I think in some businesses they will, but I don't know which ones right now, because looking at the ability, talent, platform, advantage, skill, and reach.
Yeah, and the pedigree running the show right there at Jio Financial Services. Okay.